Okay. If we can begin by finding a comfortable seated position on the mat, closing down the eyes, and finding stillness. Starting to connect with our breath, deep and slow inhales and exhales, maybe 4 counts in and 4 counts out. Welcome to yoga. For the next 90 minutes, I will be guiding you through a series of movements. We are going to try and work into the 6 directions of movement for hips, shoulders, and spine. I know each of you have already done yoga before, so I feel that we can work through a nice sequence that gently works us into each of the sections to wake the body up nice and softly to start the week. That said, at any point, if anything feels uncomfortable, please listen to your body. If there are any other variations you would like to take, please feel free to take them. Okay. If we begin today with our legs out in front, inhaling arms up to the sky, exhale, forward fold. Trying to avoid rounding in the lower spine, so perhaps finding a small bend in the knees, trying to connect your chest to your thighs and your nose to your toes. As you inhale, try to lengthen the spine. As you exhale, fold a little deeper. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. It's fine if you do come out of it, but trying where possible, unless I'm cueing inhale, move, exhale, move. Trying to work towards this 4-second inhale and 4-second exhale. And release. Crossing the legs, rolling over to all fours, coming into our tabletop position. And we start to move into our cat-cow. Spinal breathing. Good morning, Marielle. Okay, as we inhale, tops of the feet are into the mat. Hips are stacked above the knees, shoulders are stacked above the wrists. As we inhale, we lift the tailbone, we drop the stomach, we lift the chin. As we exhale, we tuck the tailbone, we round the spine, we tuck the chin. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Really feeling into your spine here, trying to wake the body up. Inhale up. Exhale down. 4 more at your own pace. Last one. When you finished your rounding of the spine, coming back to neutral, Extending your left arm alongside your left ear and your right foot back. Not pointing the back toes or the toes on the right foot, but flexing the foot. As you inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, bring your knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contract. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contract. 2 more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contract. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contract. 1 more extension. We then bend the right knee. The left hand comes back to grab the right foot and try pushing the foot into the hand as you lift it a little bit higher. Face is looking in front of you. Slightly more stretch for the spine. We're going to wake the spine up, then the shoulders, then the legs, and release. Inhaling, right arm alongside the right ear, left leg comes back, foot flexed. Inhale. As you exhale, knee to elbow. 1. Inhale, extend. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Extend. Bend the left knee. Right hand comes back. And once again, kicking the foot into the hand, lifting a little higher. And release. Tucking the toes, so the bottoms of the toes are into the mat. Sitting onto the heels. If you can do, using your fingers to spread out all 10 toes. So all 10 toes are touching the mat, stretching the bottoms of the feet. At any point, if this becomes uncomfortable, please feel free to release the toes and put the tops of the feet into the mat. Start to wake up the shoulders, arms out to the sides. Engage your fingers as if you are squeezing a ball with each hand that you don't wish to drop. As we inhale, we lift the shoulders, bring them over and back. As we exhale, we lift them over, forwards and down, shoulder rotations. Inhale back, exhale forwards. We go for 20. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 20. Well done. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, hands coming down. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. 1 more. Inhaling up. And exhale down. Finger extensions. 50. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3. 6, 7, 8, 9, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 5. Well done. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhaling up. And exhale down. Hands into the mat. Bringing the chest back towards the thighs. We lift the knees from the floor. Hands are nice and big into the mat. Small internal rotation of the hands as if you were trying to remove jar lids, like a jam jar lid. Small external rotation of the shoulders, so the eye of the elbow is pushing forwards. When your arms are engaged, and as long as they can be, and your spine, trying to bring your sitting bone up, your hips up to the sky. Your spine is at its maximum extension, slowly starting to straighten out the legs. Feet ideally hip width apart. And just start to feel into the position. This is our downward facing dog. Most important thing here, sitting bones up to the sky, lengthen the back. And once you have that, then trying to bring the heels down to the floor. Maybe pedaling one heel at a time, known as walking the dog. Slowly starting to wake the legs up. And when you've taken any movements you feel you would like to, trying to find stillness in our downward facing dog. Coming back to your breath. 4 counts in, 4 counts out. Everybody take a deep exhale. As you inhale, rolling forwards to high plank. Shoulders stacked above the wrists. Fingers are engaged, biceps and triceps are engaged, tops of the shoulders pushing up to the ceiling. This is an active posture. Body nice and flat, hips not too low, not too high. As you exhale, bend the knees, come back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forwards to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. And slowly walking the feet to the front of the mat. All the way to the front. When you get here, I would like you to try and lengthen your spine so that it's in a straight line. We call this flat back. If you can reach the floor at the same time, please feel free to do so. If you need to bring your hands to your shins or your thighs, wherever your body comes to, trying to engage and have a long, find length in the lower spine. Take a deep inhale as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. When you're forward folding, maybe a small bend in the knees again to find length in the lower spine. One more. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, arms to the sides, all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands heart center, and release the hands to the sides of your body. As we inhale, we look up. As we exhale, we look down. Inhale up. Exhale down. 3 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale down. Neck rotations. Pick your side. Moving slowly, using the shoulders for support. 1. We go for 5 again. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Changing direction. 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Arms out to the sides. Hands into fists, and we rotate the wrist forwards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and backwards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dropping hands to the sides, small bend in the knees, and we swing from side to side. All of the movement coming from the hips, allowing the arms to slap wherever they land, maybe closing down the eyes. And release. Top of the mat, shaking out the wrists. Okay, a couple of sun salutations to complete the warm-up. Same as we did last week, we'll go through one round where we'll go through the alignment, and then the second round a little bit quicker, just so we get more familiar with it. Okay, inhaling, arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, right foot steps back, right knee to the floor, left knee stacked above the left ankle, back foot, top of the foot into the mat. As we inhale, we bring the hips forwards, shoulders away from the ears, chest up. As we exhale, we tuck the back toes, hands come into the floor, we lift the hips, left leg steps back, down to the mat, feet hip width apart, downward facing dog. As we inhale, we come forwards to plank. As we exhale, we drop knees, chest and chin to the floor. As we inhale, we roll forwards with the chest. Tops of the feet into the mat, shoulders away from the ears, back of the neck long, looking at the floor in front of you. As you exhale, try to lift the hips off the floor, pushing into the hands, hips come higher. You are currently on the tops of your feet. And then when you reach your maximum, releasing one set of toes to the floor, and then the other, downward facing dog. You inhale, right leg up to the sky, and then you step right foot behind right hand, feet still hip width apart. Left knee to the floor, release the back toes, hips come back and then forwards and up. Right knee stacked above the right ankle. As you exhale, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, bring the weight forwards into your front foot and your hands. Left foot steps forwards to meet the right, forward fold. Inhaling, arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands heart center. Other side. Inhaling, arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands into the floor, left leg steps back this time. Left knee to the floor, top of the foot into the mat, right knee above the right ankle, feet hip width apart. Chest then comes forwards and up, shoulders away from the ears, hips pointing forwards. As you exhale, hands back into the floor, tuck the back toes, lift the hips, right foot steps back, placing it next to the right, downward facing dog. Inhale, coming through to plank. Exhale, dropping knees, chest and chin. Inhaling through to cobra. Once again, tops of the feet into the mat, shoulders away from the ears, back of the neck long. As you exhale, hands pushing into the floor, hips lifting, you're on the tops of your feet, and maybe now releasing the other toes down into the mat, so your body is getting an even workout. Downward facing dog. As you inhale, left leg up to the sky, and let it step behind your left hand. Right knee comes down to the floor, releasing the back toes, chest comes through and up. And as you exhale, tucking the back toes, weight comes into the hand, right knee comes off the floor, right foot steps forward and forward fold. Inhaling, arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands, heart center. One more on either side, a little bit faster. Inhaling, arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, right leg step back, right knee to the floor, chest through and up. Exhale, left leg step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come through to plank. Exhale, dropping knees, chest and chin. Inhaling through to cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up to the sky and step behind the right hand, left knee to the floor. Inhaling, chest through and up. Exhale, left leg steps forward to meet the right, forward fold. Inhaling, arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Other side. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, left leg step back, left knee to the floor, chest through and up. Exhale, right leg steps back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come through to plank. Exhale, dropping knees, chest and chin. Inhaling through to cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg steps forward, right knee to the floor, chest through and up. Exhale, right foot steps forward to meet the left, forward fold. Inhaling, arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hands falling to either side of the body, shoulders away from the ears. Engaging, pushing the hips slightly forward, engaging the muscles in the legs. Closing down the eyes and just feeling effects of our warm-up, preparing ourselves for practice. 4 things I would like you to take with you for practice today. Grounding, extension, co-activation of muscles, and engaging your core. These 4 things will help protect your body throughout the practice. As you do more and more yoga, we start to work more deeply into the body. You'll see there are 6 directions of movement for the hips, the shoulders, and the spine. And there are lots of different variations throughout the practice which will work into these directions into a shallow fashion, deeper fashion. It can be a strength posture, it can be a stretch posture. If you have any kind of, if it's an active posture, if we're using strength, these 4 things I would like you to take with you. So, if we can all practice this, anything that is into the ground, I would like you to open it, to really use it. So at the moment, your feet, spreading all the toes, engaging your feet into the floor. Sometimes this will be your hand. Extension, anything that is up to the sky, I would like you to extend it. So at the same time as expanding your feet, try to extend the crown of your head all the way up to the sky. At the same time as that, engage all of your muscles from your heels all the way up to your spine. And finally, this does kind of fall within that, but engage your core. Now release everything, slouch, slump, and then engage everything again. Hopefully you'll feel there's a difference. These are the steps which are going to help protect your joints as we're going to be putting some weight into some parts of the body that perhaps it's not used to. Engaging the muscles will protect the joints to try and avoid injury. Okay, with that in mind, bringing the hands together, interlacing the fingers, pushing the hands forwards, overhead, as far back as they will go. And as you inhale, coming up onto your tiptoes. One. And 2. Heels come down, Bending the knees, hips come back. We move into our chair pose. Hands together overhead, thumbs interlocked, feeling length in the lower spine. One. And 2. Feet hip width apart, bending the knees to 90 degrees. Shoulders or arms in line with the shoulders, shoulders away from the ears, deep chair, trying to get your knees to 90 degrees. 1. And 2. Feet come together, forward fold. Once again, option to have a small bend in the knees to try and lengthen through the lower spine. Here, maybe hands to opposite elbows. Maybe, if you wish, index and middle fingers grabbing the big toes and pulling you slightly deeper. Once again, Monday morning. Be gentle with your bodies. Yogi's choice, pick your variation. 1. And 2. Hands into the mat. Step all the way back to a high plank. Option here. Drop knees, chest and chin, or if you can, rolling forward onto the tops of your toes, keeping your elbows nice and close. We bend the elbows, we're coming forward so the elbows are stacked above the wrists and in line with our torso. Low plank or chaturanga, crocodile pose. And then, as we did before when we were in our knees, chest and chin, rolling forwards to a cobra. Shoulders away from the ears, or if you wish to try, hips off the floor. So you're balancing on your hands and the tops of your feet. This is known as upward facing dog. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, once again, hands into the floor, hips nice and high, tops of the feet into the mat, and then release the toes into the mat. Downward facing dog. Inhaling, right leg up to the sky. Exhale, right foot, step behind the right hand, left knee to the floor. Release the back toes, same as we did last week. Our runner pose, either hands to our thigh or to our hips, right knee stacked above the right ankle, pushing the hips forwards, working into our left hip flexor and our right hamstring. Now, same principle, but slightly more active. Hands come forwards, tucking the back toes, lifting the back knee, and then slowly trying to raise your body up. Hips not opening, but square, both pointing forwards, left knee not dipping, strong, right knee above the right ankle and trying to bend your right knee to 90 degrees. Back of the spine is long, arms come up to the sky, thumbs inside fists, arms back and extend. This is the same direction of movement for the hips, but it's a slightly deeper posture. So we're now going to come out of this, left knee down to the floor, just for you to experience. There are many different variations as time goes on that work deeper into these positions. Okay, straightening the right leg, pulling the right toes up to the sky. Inhale and lengthen, and as you exhale, folding forwards, hands framing the right foot. Feeling a stretch in your right hamstring. Once again, not trying to get your head down to your knee, but more towards your toes to avoid rounding in the lower spine. And 2, bending that right knee, right side of the foot into the mat, hands into the floor. We lift the back knee, we turn the left foot to 90 degrees. We come up to standing and we straighten the right leg. Left foot comes forwards half a pace, arms out to the sides. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, right hand stretches to the right. And then bring your hand all the way down. So your heels are in line with one another. Your hips are pushing forward slightly. You feel a stretch in the left side of your body. Also the inside of your right hip. Right hand is either on top of the right ankle or inside the right ankle on the mat, wherever your body comes to today, and then bring your left arm up to the sky. Imagine your right hand and your left hand are both pushing up against the wall. Feet are nice and strong into the mat, extending the left arm up to the sky, engaging the muscles in your legs and your arms to protect the joints, and engaging your core to protect your spine. This is our Trikonasana triangle pose. Abduction for the hip. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, left hand comes down to the mat, left foot turns to 45 degrees. Left hand either inside your right ankle, on top of your right foot, or outside your right ankle. Right leg stays straight, and then right hand comes up to the sky. Reverse triangle. One. And 2. Right hand comes down to the mat. Left hand to the left of the mat. Left foot steps back a little bit, bending the left knee, bringing it down to the floor. Right foot walks over to the left of the mat, and then bringing your right knee down to the floor. Option to keep your shin in line with the top of the mat. If you're new to this or you're feeling a bit tight this morning, maybe bringing the heel a little closer to the hip, the shin at 45 degrees. We then walk the left leg back as far as it will go, keeping the hips both pointing forwards, sinking down into the mat as much as possible, releasing the back foot, top of the foot into the mat. Hands to support. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, walking the hands forwards and down into our half pigeon. And release, walking the hands slowly back to the body. Hands into the floor, tucking the back toes, lifting the hips. Right leg comes up to the sky. Maybe bending the right knee. Trying to stack. If you can open your right hip, stacking your right hip on top of your left, your pelvis is pointing to your right side. You're looking underneath your right armpit, and just slowly rotate the knee clockwise and anti-clockwise, just to release any tension that might be in that right hip. When you're ready, bringing your right foot back down to the mat, feet hip width apart. We're in our downward facing dog. And as I haven't already mentioned it, let's bring our knees down to the floor. Knees nice and wide as the mat, toes together, and we bring our hips all the way back to our heels. This is with our arms out in front, forehead to the floor. This is our extended child's pose. At any point throughout any practice, of course, if something feels uncomfortable, back off. But if you wish to take a breather, for your breath, for your body, for any reason, coming down to this position, extended child's pose, or bringing the knees together, forehead just in front of the knees and arms alongside the body, just normal child's pose. These are absolutely fine. Child's pose working more into the lower spine, extended child's pose working more into the hips. In your own time, coming back to all fours and making your way into downward facing dog. Inhaling left leg up to the sky. While we are here, if possible, this is our three-legged dog. I would like you to practice keeping hips square. So maybe it's very easy for people to open their hips to try and get the left leg higher. But unless we cue it, and it's just a normal lifting of the back leg, try to keep the hips as square as possible, maybe pointing the big toe of the foot that is in the air towards the opposite heel. And as you exhale, left foot steps behind the left hand. Right knee to the floor, releasing top of the foot into the mat, coming up to our runner pose. Once again, option to put hands to left thigh or to hips, pushing the hips forwards, left knee stacked above the left ankle. And as we did on the other side, tucking the back toes, hands maybe coming into the floor while we do this. Lifting the right knee off the floor, left knee stacked above the left ankle. Legs nice and strong, feet hip width apart, and then slowly coming all the way up. Hips square, left knee bent to 90 degrees, no bending in that right knee, nice and strong. Spine nice and long, arms up to the sky, thumbs inside, arms back and extend. High lunge warrior. Dropping the right knee back down to the floor, releasing the back foot, straightening the left leg, toes up to the sky. Inhale, lengthen, and as you exhale, folding forwards. Bending the left knee, hands coming to the front of the mat, tucking the back toes, turning the right foot to 90 degrees, coming up to standing, straightening the left leg, and then bringing the right foot half a pace closer. Arms out to the sides, shoulders away from the ears, extending through the arms. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale with legs straight, hinge at the hips, coming as far forwards over your left foot as you can, When you reach your maximum, left hand coming down, right arm coming up. Once again, imagining one straight line all the way from your left fingertips, all the way up to your right fingertips. And release. Right hand comes down to the mat. Right foot turns to 45 degrees. Right hand either inside, on top of, or outside your left foot, and your left arm comes up to the sky. Both legs nice and straight. 1. And 2. Left hand down to the floor. Right foot steps a little bit further back. Bring the right knee down to the floor. Left foot walks over to the right. Left knee comes down to the mat. Same angle as last time, if possible, for the shin. Walking the right foot back, hips both pointing forwards, sinking them down as low as you can. When you're at your maximum, inhale and lengthen, and exhale, walking the hands forwards and down. And release. Hands coming back to the body. Tucking the back toes, hands push into the floor, lifting the hips. And same as we did on the other side, left leg up to the sky, this time bending the left knee, reopening that left hip, stacking it on top of the right, looking underneath your left armpit, and maybe rotating the hip, this time anti-clockwise to start, and then clockwise. Meeting in downward facing dog. We then bring the knees down to the floor. Walk the knees to the front of your mat. Knees together, option here. If you have a cushion or a block, place underneath your sitting bones, please feel free to do so. We're going to go for inward rotation for our hips. This marks the last direction of movement. Knees together, feet wide. We work towards bringing the hips down inside the ankles. This may be your maximum today. Wherever your body feels a good stretch, stay there and breathe. This is what we need. If your body is capable, maybe trying to bring your elbows down to the floor. And if this is still okay, bringing your body all the way down and arms overhead. As I may have mentioned before, during my training, when I got there, my philosophy teacher asked me, which is your hardest position? And it was this. I was up here, my knees were screaming at me. You can put flannels inside your knees here to release tension, and just keep doing it. Eventually, the body opens up. Slowly finding your way back up out of the posture. Coming into all fours, knees wide, toes together, arms out in front. Extended child's pose, feeling the effects of our hip sequence. Preparing ourselves for our shoulder sequence. You will be delighted to know, as this is a beginner's class, there will be no major arm balances today. We're going to try one. Coming up to all fours, tabletop position, tucking the toes, lifting the knees, coming down up into our downward facing dog. We inhale the right leg up to the sky. At any point, if this becomes uncomfortable or is not achievable, bring the left knee down to the floor. But if you can, stay in downward facing dog, lift the right leg up to the sky, bend the right knee, open the right hip, stack it on top of the left, looking underneath your right armpit. Inhale. As you exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhaling up, hips square. Exhale, knee to forehead. Inhaling up, hips square. Exhale, knee to left elbow, twist. Inhaling, right leg up to the sky. Bending the right knee, stacking the right hip on top of the left. Inhale. As you exhale, right knee to right elbow. 1. Inhaling up, hips square. Exhale, knee to forehead. Inhaling up, hips square. Exhale, right knee, left elbow. Well done. Right knee into the floor. Right hand into the floor. Both are into the middle of the mat. Left foot turns to 90 degrees. Left arm comes up to the sky. Pushing the hips slightly forward. Option to stay here. Option if your right shoulder is stacked above your right wrist. You're engaging your fingers, your biceps and your triceps. Right foot can step to meet the left, lifting the hips a little bit higher. And release. Left hand down to the floor. High plank. We lower down with our elbows nice and tight to the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Okay, for this next thing, I'm hoping I'm cueing sufficiently so you can do this, but please feel free to look at the screen. Right arm out to the side, 90 degrees. Left hand into the floor, next to your left chest. Right fingers walk up slightly so they're in line with the forehead. Palm stays facing down, right palm. Left hand pushes into the floor, rolling over your right shoulder, bending your left knee. Place your left foot behind your right knee. Stretches in the right shoulder. Option to stay here. If this is enough for you today, that's absolutely fine. If you wish, you can inhale your left arm up to the sky. And as you exhale, let it fall behind you, whether that's to your lower spine or the back of your right hand. Wherever you come to today, this is absolutely fine. Let it hit the floor and just relax. And release. Inhaling left arm up to the sky if it was behind you. And exhale, left hand back down in front of the face. Rolling over to the fronts of your body. Right hand coming into the chest. Both hands pushing into the floor. Left arm walking forwards. Right hand sliding underneath. The right arm is in line with the top of the mat. Palm is facing down. We bring the shoulder all the way down to the floor. Torso, body is facing down. You then bring the left arm up alongside the left ear, and we bring it alongside the left of the body. Left palm facing up. Place it down next to your left hip. So right palm facing down, left palm facing up. Both shoulders pushing down towards the floor. Feeling the stretch in your right shoulder. So make sure your left shoulder is pushing down as well. And breathe. Keeping your body where it is, lift your chin, bend your right elbow, thumb inside fingers, lift the chin, and then place the chin down on top of your right wrist. So the right hand is next to the right shoulder, chin is on top, and then release. And release, lifting the chin, right arm releases to the floor, left hand to the front of the mat, pushing into the floor, releasing your right arm, coming back to our tabletop position, all fours, and then coming into our downward facing dog. This time, left leg coming up to the sky, bending the left knee, opening the left hip, stacking it on top of the right, looking underneath your left armpit. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, left knee, left elbow. Inhaling up, hips square. Exhale to forehead. Inhaling up. Exhale, right elbow. Inhaling left leg up and open. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Inhaling up, hips square. Exhale to forehead. Inhaling up, square. Exhale, left knee, right elbow. Well done. Release. Left knee into the floor in the middle of the mat. Left hand into the floor, middle of the mat. Right foot turns to 90 degrees. Right arm comes up to the sky. Option to stay here, or if you did on the other side, bringing your left foot to meet your right, lifting your hips a little bit higher. And release. Right hand comes down to the mat. Body coming all the way down. Left arm out to the side, 90 degrees. Right hand next to the chest. Walking the left fingertips up in line with the forehead. Right hand pushes into the floor. Rolling over your left shoulder, bending your right knee, placing it down behind your left knee. Option to stay here, option to inhale the right arm up to the sky, and as you exhale, let it fall behind you, wherever it comes to. Maybe noticing if one side of the body is tighter than the other. And coming back to your breath. Inhaling, right arm up to the sky if it was behind you. And as you exhale, bring the right hand down in front of your face, rolling over to the front of your body. Left hand coming into the chest, both hands pushing into the floor, right hand walking forward, left arm sliding underneath, left palm staying facing down, left shoulder down to the floor, left arm in line with the top of the mat, body facing down, right arm comes out in front, and then swing alongside the right side of the body, right palm facing up, left palm facing down, both shoulders pushing towards the floor, and breathe. Keeping your body where it is, lift your chin, bend your left elbow, thumb inside fingers, and then place your chin on the outside of your left wrist. and release. Lifting the chin, left arm comes down to the floor, right hand to the front of the mat, pushing into the floor, releasing the left hand, pushing to all four. We work into our arm balance. I'm just gonna lift this slightly. Okay. If you can, come into a squatting position. So feet hip width apart, hips down to the heels. Try to bring your arms, your shoulders over your elbows. So your triceps are against your knees. We're one day trying to work towards bringing our knees directly into our triceps. But when you start, having them slightly outside of the triceps can be less painful. Hands come into the floor, big hands. Sorry, so you can see. Big hands. And then we come onto the tiptoes. And we slowly start playing with bringing weight into the backs of the arms. So maybe one foot can come off the floor, maybe the other foot. Maybe if your hands are strong enough, maybe you wish to have a cushion underneath your head, but eventually maybe both feet coming off the floor, trying to bring the toes together. And if you have time, whenever you're exercising, to practice this, please feel free to do so. As we move into more practices within yoga, there are lots of things we can do whilst we're on our arms. Trying to make sure the wrists are nice and warmed up beforehand. As we did this morning is fine, just to slowly start to wake them up. But at any point, if it feels uncomfortable, come out of it. If any of you would like wrist strengthening exercises, let me know, and we can try and look into them. Okay. When you are ready, knees down to the floor, crossing the legs, coming back into a seated position. Fingers pointing backwards, hips lifting and coming towards the heels. We walk the hands in line with the shoulders, so not too wide and not too close. We walk the arms back. As far as they will go, option to keep a small bend in the elbows, option to squeeze the fingers together, once again to protect the joints, option to stay here, option to straighten out the legs in front. And two, slowly and gently coming out of the posture. Feet width of the mat. If you're new to this, the tops of your fingers to the outside of the rib cage will be easier. If this is easy for you, you can start bringing them further back. Feet hip width apart, we place the elbows inside the knees. If this is not quite accessible, even with your fingers forwards, try with just one side and use your hand to help. One. Changing sides if you are on one side. And two. Coming to a seated position, hugging your arms around your knees, lifting your toes from the floor, lengthening through the spine, chest up and forward, closing down the eyes. And for a moment, imagine you are floating wherever you would like to be floating. And release. We now come into our boat pose. Arms out in front. Option 1, shins in line with the hands, with the arms. Option 2, straightening the legs. Toes pointing up to the sky. Chest pushing through, forwards and up. Shoulders away from the ears. We then lower the legs, not all the way down. The heels are still about maybe 3 or 4 inches off the floor. Spine comes all the way down. Shoulders are off the floor, pointing the toes, pushing the fingers towards the toes, engaging the lower abdomen. Boat 2. And release. Feet down to the mat, shoulders down to the mat, arms above you, hands together, thumbs interlocked. As you inhale, lift your shoulders from the floor directly up to the sky. Engage your abdomen. Boat 3. And release. Finding your way up to a seated position, crossing the legs, hands to feet, rolling over to all fours, and lowering down to the mat. Shoulders directly underneath, elbows directly underneath the shoulders, palms facing down, tops of the feet into the floor. Back of the neck long, so looking at the floor in front of you, maybe closing down the eyes. And just coming back to your breath, feeling the effects of our hip sequence, shoulder sequence, starting to engage the abdominals just before we work into the spinal sequence. And release, chest down to the floor. We then bring the arms out to the sides and then alongside the ears, lifting the chest from the floor, tops of the feet and hips can pushing into the floor, back of the neck still long. We lift the chest as high as we can. One. I count to 4. 2. 3. 4. Release. Hands into the mat, pushing back to all fours, bringing the knees forwards. We cross the legs, we roll back onto our sitting bones, hips to heels. We're going to work into our bridge pose. Probably one of the most common back bends you will see in the wild. So, back into the floor, hips are to heels, fingers are to either the heels, or if you can, trying to grab your ankles. As we inhale, we lift the hips and the spine comes off the floor, vertebra by vertebra. Pushing through the heels until your hips are as high as they can be, your chest is as high as it can be, maybe lifting the shoulders and bringing the shoulder blades underneath and towards one another to protect the spine, back of the neck, protected this way. Trying to disengage the glutes but engage the hamstrings. We hold. 2, 3, 4. Slowly and gently lowering the spine back down to the mat, vertebra by vertebra. And maybe bringing the knees into the chest. Either hands to knees or wrap your arms around your knees, trying to keep your lower spine to the floor. Just gently massaging the spine. We now move into our inversion practice. If there is anything else you would like to work on, now is the time. Otherwise, I will guide a shoulder stand with an option of, actually we'll go with shoulder stand today. If this is not comfortable for you, please feel free to come up to a standing position, feet hip width apart, and we just fold forwards. We're actually going to meet here anyway. And just hang upside down. Otherwise, hands either side of the hips. We push the hands into the floor, bringing the knees overhead. Placing hands into the lower spine to support. Option to stay here, especially if you're on your moon cycle, please feel free to stay here. Otherwise, straightening legs, pointing toes all the way up to the sky and bringing the hips forwards. Once again, strong in the shoulders to protect the spine. Three, halfway. And release, slowly bringing your spine, your hips all the way down to the mat. Releasing the spine to the floor, vertebra by vertebra. Palms facing down underneath the glutes. And we lower the legs down to the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We do inversions, trying to bring energy. There's various different energy centers from the lower spine all the way up to the crown of the head. And we're trying to bring the energy from the various energy centers all the way up to the top. With your palms facing down underneath your glutes and your elbows nice and tight to the body, bending the elbows, lifting the chest up, and then dropping the head back. This is our fish pose. Counter stretch for our shoulder stand. And release down to the mat. Finding your way up to a seated position. One last time. Legs out in front, inhaling, arms up to the sky as we exhale, folding forwards and down. Counter stretch for the back bend. Once again, maybe a small bend in the knees to find length in the lower spine. I'm going to hold here for a minute, and we're then going to stand up and do a forward fold for 1 minute. Use the time wisely. Deep and slow breathing. The more you breathe, the deeper you breathe, the more we stretch. And release. Bending the knees, coming forwards onto the feet, slowly coming up to a standing position or a forward folding position, feet hip width apart. Nice and long in the spine, maybe hands to the floor, maybe hands to opposite elbows. Let the head drop, maybe a small nod of the head and a shake to release any tension in the neck. And just breathe. And release. Hands into the floor, bending the knees, sitting back, coming all the way down to the mat. Legs out in front, arms overhead and behind. We move into our side stretches. So legs to the left, arms to the left. Left foot steps over the right ankle. Left hand grabs the right wrist. Right thumb inside fingers. Feeling a stretch in the side of the body. Hips to the floor, shoulders to the floor. And breathe. 1 minute. And release. Back to center. Moving over to the other side, legs coming over to the right. Arms over to the right. This time right foot stepping over the left. Right hand grabbing the left wrist. Left thumb inside fingers. Hips to the floor, shoulders to the floor. Stretching the left side of the body. 1 minute. Breathe. And release. We now move into our spinal twists. So if there are any other variations you would like to take, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, arms out to the sides 90 degrees, bending the knees, soles of the feet into the mat. Lift your right leg over your left. Option to stay here, or if you can, lift your left heel, wrap your right foot underneath your left calf. It's fine if you can't. Options, lift the hips a little, move them over to the right a little, take a deep inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, knees drop over to the left, looking over to the right, trying to keep your right shoulder into the floor, and then breathe. Once again, 1 minute. And release. Right foot back into the mat, left foot steps over the right. Option to wrap your left foot around your right calf. Option to lift the hips a little, move them to the left just a little. Deep inhale, and as you exhale, knees fall to the right, looking over to the left. Left shoulder into the floor, and breathe. And release, coming back to center. Taking any final movements you would like to before we come down into our final resting pose, which we do at the end of each practice. Maybe hugging knees into the chest, gently rocking from side to side, maybe hands to knees, rotating the knees outwards and then inwards, again just massaging the lower spine. And then maybe finding your way into a happy baby. We grab either, we'll start with the big toes, so index and middle finger, grab around the big toes, and then bring your lower spine all the way down to the mat. Once your lower spine is down to the mat, trying to work your knees down towards the floor. Maybe gently rocking from side to side. The next posture we do at the end of each practice to try and bring us out of practice feeling balanced. We generate quite a lot of energy throughout practice, or we can do. And Savasana, our corpse pose, the idea is hypercompensation, bring you back to feeling grounded and neutral when you leave the class. So, in your own time, feet to the corners of the mat, toes falling out, palms facing up to the sky, maybe half a foot to a foot away from the hips. Back of the neck long, maybe tucking the chin slightly, shoulders down and away from the ears, lifting the hips away from the shoulders to lengthen the spine, and then kicking the heels out one last time. Taking a deep inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, completely relaxing the body and the mind. 4 minutes. Shavasana. Slowly bringing your awareness back to your breath, your bodies. Starting to find movement in fingers and toes. Maybe rotating wrists and ankles in one direction and then the other. Finding movement in legs, hips, shoulders. Maybe turning the head gently from side to side. And interlacing the fingers above the body, bringing the arms all the way overhead. Coming into a full body stretch, pointing the toes, flexing the feet. And with your eyes closed in your own time, rolling over to one side of your body and slowly coming up to a comfortable seated position, closing practice with gratitude, finding at least 3 things that you are grateful for in the last 24 hours. Saying thank you to yourselves for taking the time to practice. I am thanking you for bearing with me this morning. Wishing you a beautiful start to the week. Namaste. Well, guys, thank you. That felt very different to last week's beginners class. Felt very disjointed and not a lot was going on. So thank you for putting up with it.
It says recording on there. You've recorded the class.
I have recorded this, yes.
Oh my God. Do people see me then? No, man.
I don't know. I've never watched it afterwards.
Well,
I have recorded.
And I was cheating a bit. I'm just telling you now.
Oh, no. It's quite all right. I recorded in speaker view. I do wonder whether or not I should have been in a different view, but we'll find out. I don't think I'm planning to publish this one.
I think you should. It was really nice. It's a soft, gentle morning flow. Yeah.
That's very kind, Maria. I don't know. I did more of a really descriptive. I was explaining everything the first time, and I was talking a bit about the history. And today, it just felt I didn't really have. I didn't feel like I was as into it. But I'll maybe watch it back.
Yourself.
You have to come to the other ones, Mario. I feel like this was the first class, and I wasn't really. But anyway, I think the bodies have done the 6 directions of movement for the hips, the shoulders, and the spine. So the body is awake. I'm wondering. Feel free to message me offline. But if we might do a yin on a Monday morning and on a Saturday morning, and then the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we do the different hips, shoulders, spine, and full body. We don't need to do a beginner's class because everyone here is already doing yoga.
Yeah.
I think you're great the way you're doing it, but then I don't know much about yoga, so.
Thank you. But yes, any questions or feedback, please let me know. I'm wishing you a good Monday, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah.